Welcome back to The Explainer. So glad you're hanging out with us today. Look, if you love a good adventure or an epic, almost impossible challenge, you are in exactly the right place. Today, we're talking about unlocking an ultimate superpower. And no, I don't mean flying or, shooting laser beams out of your eyes. I'm talking about a real-life, totally invincible superpower that we can tap into when our own human strength just completely runs out.
Let me ask you something, and be really honest. Have you ever tried super hard to do the exact right thing, but you still messed up? Like maybe you promised yourself you absolutely wouldn't argue with your brother or sister today, or you swore you'd finally clean your room without complaining, but somehow, boom, you fell right back into the exact same trap. It happens to all of us, literally every single day. We face these daily temptations, and honestly, relying purely on our own willpower to be good, it just doesn't work. No matter how hard we squeeze our eyes shut and try, our own strength simply fails.
Which brings us to Section 1, the tough challenge.
So if our strength is failing, we really need to understand who is setting these traps for us. The thing is, our enemy, Satan, doesn't usually come at us looking like some scary, snarling monster with horns. No way. He disguises himself as a trickster. He might look like an angel of light or even someone in authority, totally hiding his wicked intentions behind a clever mask. The source material we're digging into today warns us all about his many temptations. Because he's so tricky and his traps are so well hidden, it's actually impossible for us to resist him without divine power. He is the ultimate master of disguise, making this challenge incredibly tough.
Okay, let's dive into this ultimate matchup. On one side, we've got human strength. The text is super clear about this. Jesus knows that if we only use our own human strength, we will definitely fail. We just fall for those hidden traps way too easily. But on the flip side, we have divine power. This power never ever fails, and it comes straight from God. Jesus completely understands that we can't resist these sneaky temptations on our own. He knows we need a massive upgrade. We absolutely have to rely on his divine power to win this battle.
Section 2. Fleeing to the Stronghold.
Because God knows we desperately need this divine power. He hasn't just left us out there stranded. His ultimate solution is a stronghold. Picture a massive, completely safe, totally unshakable fortress. Our source material tells us that every single provision has been made so that in every emergency and every trial, we can flee to the stronghold. Guys, God has thought of everything. Whenever you're in trouble, whenever you feel tempted to do the wrong thing, you have a secure fortress you can sprint to. And the absolute best part? This fortress is built on a solid foundation of promises right from God's own lips. And his lips will not lie. It is 100% guaranteed protection.
What's really interesting about this quote from Zechariah 9:12 is what it calls us. It says, "Turn you to the stronghold, ye prisoners of hope. Even today do I declare that I will render double unto thee." I absolutely love that phrase, prisoners of hope. That is you guys. Even when you feel stuck or completely trapped because you messed up again, you are still filled with hope because of Jesus. And he is officially inviting you to run to this mighty fortress today. Not tomorrow, not next week, today.
Moving right along to Section 3, the secret to entering.
So how do we actually get inside those massive, heavy gates? Well, this brilliantly illustrates the difference between two kinds of approaches. First, you have half-hearted prayers. You know the ones, sleepy, languid, kind of just mumbling a few words right before you drift off to sleep. The text explicitly warns that our languid, half-hearted prayers will not bring us returns from heaven. But then you have wholehearted prayers. This means being completely earnest, totally sincere, and having what the text calls soul hunger. It means genuinely meaning what you say. If we want to unlock those gates, weak prayers just aren't going to cut it. We have to earnestly press our petitions to God.
And the text actually gives us an exact step-by-step formula for doing exactly this. Step 1, ask in faith. Step 2, wait in faith. Step 3, receive in faith. And finally, Step 4, rejoice in hope. It's a beautiful progression, really. You ask actually believing God hears you, then you wait patiently, knowing for a fact he's working behind the scenes, you receive the power he promised, and then you celebrate. And the source guarantees this. It says, "For everyone that seeketh, findeth." If you use this sincere step-by-step method, you will absolutely find the help you're looking for.
Which brings us to Section 4, putting your heart into it.
Think about the things you already care deeply about. Temporal things, as our text calls them. Things like mastering a really impossible video game level, training out in the hot sun to win a big sports match, or staying up late to ace a tough school project. You put your whole soul into it. You don't just rage quit after trying once, right?
No way. You try again and again with intense focus. Well, the source text tells us we need to learn the trade of seeking God's rich blessings with that exact same determined effort. With persevering effort, you will have His light, His truth, and His grace.
Actually, the text uses a really strong word here. It says to wrestle with the heavenly agencies until you have the victory. Just imagine that for a second, teaming up and wrestling alongside God's mighty warrior angels for victory over temptation. You need to put your entire being, your soul, your body, and your spirit, right into the Lord's hands. Resolve to be His loving, consecrated agency. Let Him move your will. Let Him control your mind. Give it absolutely everything you've got.
Section 5. Finding Christ's Peace.
Now, after all that intense wrestling and striving, we reach a truly beautiful result. So the crucial point here is that putting your whole heart into it doesn't mean you have to be fancy. The text says you aren't required to hold a long controversy with God or preach some giant, complicated sermon to Him. Nope, all He wants is for you to tell Jesus your wants in the sincere honesty of your soul. Just a simple, honest cry from a heart that's genuinely sorry for its sins. Literally just saying, "Save me, Lord, or I perish," is perfectly enough to fling open the gates of that stronghold.
And the moment you do that, the most amazing rescue happens. Look at these incredible promises from our text. First off, the crushing burden of sin is completely taken away. Jesus just lifts that heavy, invisible backpack of guilt right off your shoulders. Gone. Second, sincere seekers will ask, knock, and find exactly what they need. And finally, you get to experience the absolute blessedness of the peace of Christ. A true, deep, calming peace rushes in and replaces all that stressful exhaustion of trying to be good on your own.
So here's my final question for you to think about as we wrap up today's explainer. When temptation inevitably comes knocking later today, and trust me, it will, how are you going to handle it? Are you going to try to fight it using your own weak human strength and risk falling right back into the trap? Or will you pray with your whole heart and sprint straight to the ultimate stronghold? The gates are wide open, the promises are totally real, and that divine power is just waiting for you. The choice is up to you. Thank you so much for joining me to explore these incredible truths, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.